What's up, YouTube? Chief Chink, all up in the compound. This video caught my eye. I figured I'd react to it. The title is Elite Bloodline from Ancient Time Till Now. Man, your Chief already knows. He has that, extra special stuff flowing through his veins. I just want to get this, little history lesson, in my mind and in your heart. Let's go ahead and delve in.
In 1851, in what is now known as Iraq, archaeologist and explorer Sir Austin Henry Layard discovered a library with 22,000 tablets containing what we know to be the earliest writings on Earth. The writings date back to over 6,000 years ago when the region was known as Mesopotamia, Sumer, and Babylon. Amongst these vast writings is a story which mirrors the book of Genesis in the Bible. It tells a story of a great flood which...
It's crazy how many times they remade the Bible. So many books, ancient, historic books, it's just a remix of something else.
Reshaped the face of the planet Earth and all of her inhabitants. It tells a story of a tower built and the creation of the spoken word. One of these scrolls includes a star map of
the commandments, negative confessions,
what appears to be a sun and its planets. The writings include detailed descriptions and maps of our solar system matching what we know today and beyond. It includes a 10th planet in an orbit between Mars and Jupiter. It is written that the 10th planet Nibiru was thrust into our solar system and collided with the planet Tiamat. The remaining bulk of Tiamat over time became Eridu, the Earth as we know it, and the rest of her became the asteroid belt. In retrograde to the other 9 planets, Nibiru took orbit around our sun in a long ecliptic or apogee. Lasting 3,600 years, it passes between Mars and Jupiter. In recent years, based on the patterns of our known solar system, astronomers have been looking...
Just a disclaimer, a lot of this is theory, so don't take this and write it down into stone.
For a planet with the same orbit. In search of this planet, they discovered the planet Pluto. The search continues. According to the ancient texts, this detailed information was given to them by the Anunnaki, or those who from heaven to earth came. They described the Anunnaki as a reptilian race of gods which came to the earth in fiery ships from their home planet.
And people are somewhat reptile. Look at your hands. You have webs on your hands. Just like, you know what I'm saying? Reptiles. Look at your hands. So,
Of Nibiru, the 10th planet. It is written that these Anunnaki came to the earth to mine gold and other elements to serve in protecting the atmosphere of their distant home planet. After a workers' revolt, the Anunnaki rulers began to genetically alter Cro-Magnon man to create a slave race, resulting in the human race. It was said that we were created by the gods in clay vessels. It is written that man was forbidden to depict the Anunnaki in their actual form. Just prior to the Great Flood, the bulk of the Anunnaki would return home, leaving numbers of them behind to watch over the earth. Anu was king.
Assigned to Anu to heed his instructions. 300 in the heavens he stationed as a god, the ways of earth to find from the heaven, and on earth 600 he made reside. After all their instructions had ordered to the Anunnaki of heaven and of earth, he allotted their assignments.
This story of reptilian gods from the heavens creating man is not at all uncommon. It in fact can be found in most every region of our planet. In Japan, emperors claim descent from dragon gods who came from the sky. Australian Aborigines teach of a reptilian race which lives underneath the earth.
I'm thinking they about to talk about bloodline as far as Egyptian kings, Nigerian kings, rulers. They talking about all this extraterrestrial, even though a lot of this information is vital to knowing what's here and beyond, but come on now, let's talk about some human beings.
For men. They believe they are descendants of a race of dragon humans. China teaches the serpent queen Nukua.
Dragon, the original Moors, that's why I believe in Italy when they defeated the Moors, they started calling themselves dragon slayers. They do the run of the bulls, symbolizing the last Moor kicked out of that part of the world. You know, but hey, you gotta know your history.
Interbred with man. India calls these reptilian gods Nagas and claim they seeded their royal
Niggas, Nagas, I know y'all know what that is.
families. Throughout the Middle East, it is believed a serpent race created man. The book of Genesis tells of giants who came from the heavens to breed with the daughters of man. They are called the Nephilim. In Africa, they call them Chitari, children of the serpent. The royal kings of Africa claim descent from serpent gods who came from the sky. In South America, the Mayans teach that their ancestors were the people of the serpent. Aztecs were said to be created by a serpent woman. In America, the Hopi Indians believe sky gods came to Earth to breed with their women and referred to them as their snake brothers. The word Sioux means snakes, and Iroquois means serpents. It seems the only places you will not find this historical story is where the history has been methodically destroyed.
That's new to me. Sioux means snake. Okay.
The descendants of King Anu in Sumeria and Babylon can be traced throughout time. The pharaohs of Egypt were from the bloodlines of the Babylonian kings. The rulers of the Roman Empire can be traced to Egyptian hierarchy. All throughout Europe, the royal families can be traced back to the great Roman emperors.
And y'all see where it started, huh? But let's rewind.
34 of the president's bloodlines of the traced throughout time.
You see how they try to do it slick? You know what I'm saying? Don't play like everything that started in Egypt, in Africa. You see how they try to put the Middle East, give it props? Come on now, I catch all that.
Pharaohs of Egypt were from the bloodlines of the Babylonian kings.
But Egypt, that's not Egypt. Egypt is West Africa, bro. No, Egypt is East Africa. Northeastern Africa. You know? But they have it so far up, it looks like the Middle East. You need to put that Florida Lee where it's supposed to be. Yeah.
The rulers of the Roman Empire can be traced to Egyptian hierarchy. All throughout Europe, the royal families can be traced back to the great Roman emperors. The royal kings of Africa claim descent from serpent gods who came from the sky. In South America, the Mayans teach that their ancestors were the people of the serpent. Aztecs were said to be created by a serpent woman. In America, the Hopi Indians believe sky gods came to Earth to breed with their women and referred to them as their snake brothers. The word Sioux means snakes, and Iroquois means serpents. It seems the only places you will not find this historical story is where the history has been methodically destroyed. The descendants of King Anu in Sumeria and Babylon can be traced throughout time. The pharaohs of Egypt were from the bloodlines of the Babylonian kings.
See how slick they do it? You see how slick they do it? Like everything is started in Egypt. They have to say, oh yeah, some relatives over here, so it started over here. Man, propaganda is a bitch.
To Egyptian hierarchy. All throughout Europe, the royal families can be traced back to the great Roman emperors.
Because you have to start where dignified life started. And that was Egypt. That was Africa. That was West Africa. That was Nigeria. You know, Igbo is the original Hebrew text. You know what I'm saying? Yoruba is the original Muslim text. But people don't talk about that, man.
34 of the presidents of the United States are directly descended from European royalty, with the remaining 8 who are only closely related to these same bloodlines. In 1934, President Franklin Roosevelt placed the Great Seal, originally created in 1782 by the Freemasons, on the dollar bill. Represented in the Great Seal is a pyramid and the all-seeing eye, known to be used by the elusive society, the Illuminati. Strung together in conspiratorial confusion are secret societies such as the Illuminati, the Freemasons, and the Bohemian Club. In 1917, National Geographic did a story on a place in Montreal, California called Bohemian Grove. The story reports a place where the world's elite, members of the Bohemian Club, retreat to in late July and conduct an ancient occult ceremony called the cremation of care. Every year in July, the world's leaders, media moguls, and members of the World Bank spend 2 weeks of what is known as a men-only retreat at the Grove. In the year 2000, ABC television show World of Wonder infiltrated Bohemian Grove with hidden cameras and aired the video on the BBC. The video shows the large mass of men donning red and black robes and once again conducting the cremation of care ceremony. The altar is at the base of a 200-foot owl, the Babylonian symbol of the god Moloch, the god of human sacrifice. In the video, a body is delivered upriver to the altar where it is set on fire. Upon being aired, members of the Bohemian Club reported that the ceremony is a put-on, merely done for entertainment and fun. This history tells a story of our world leaders having a deep involvement in satanic tradition, worshipping our reptilian overlords, serpent gods, no different than sheep or cattle. There is an endless amount of information out there which supports this, but don't take my word for it.
Well, son, a funny thing about regret is that it's better to regret something you have done than to regret something you haven't done.
As far as that reptilian thing that they put in there, they didn't show you the deep African root as when you relate to the rewritings of the Bible. Many books have been burned, and not even burned. The original tablets have been rewritten and burned, so no evidence can be shown to show who are the original authors of these texts. But hey, that's how you do when if you go conquer a land, and this land is plentiful, this land is beautiful, this land is the most evolved on the planet Earth, and you somehow, after years, hundreds of years, finally find a way to conquer it, you would be wise to burn their knowledge, first copy their knowledge and burn it, so that, and in turn tell them that they have accomplished nothing. You see, we're the ones who are on the Sphinx. Let's go blow off the nose and say we're the ones who built the Sphinx. We're the ones who built the pyramids, when that isn't the case. This was a wise move. This was a tactical, war-like approach. You see, they're not going to tell you about the original forms of the test, because this really isn't this isn't an Afrocentric video. And even if they did know the truth, I don't believe they'd say it. It wouldn't be wise in their power dynamic. But hey, this is the Big Nard channel. I'm gonna say what I want. Much love to all my subscribers, everybody who has shown support. What do y'all think about this mini doc? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe as well.
My lane Hall of Fame, so I have what you pros lack. Big Nard moving forward in all caps.